Here's why Cersei's death in Season 8 shocked fans. Cersei Lannister is one of the most infamous and captivating characters in Game of Thrones. Introduced in Season 1 as the calculating, ambitious, and often ruthless Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, Cersei has always been defined by her hunger for power, her loyalty to family, and her unyielding determination to survive at any cost. Over the course of the series, viewers watched Cersei's rise to power, her strategic brilliance, and the moral compromises she was willing to make to protect the Lannister name. Yet, in Season 8, her death shocked fans around the world, leaving many to question the narrative logic, emotional impact, and thematic resonance of the series' final moments. To understand why her death was so shocking, we need to explore her character arc, the context of her demise, and the expectations viewers had for the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Cersei's journey is a story of power, survival, and obsession. From her early days as a politically savvy yet underestimated queen, Cersei learned to manipulate, negotiate, and eliminate threats with precision. Her cunning is evident in her use of alliances, her mastery of political intrigue, and her ability to anticipate the moves of her enemies. She is a character who thrives in the world of strategy, where information, timing, and psychological insight are weapons just as deadly as swords. Cersei's intelligence and ruthlessness earned her both fear and admiration, solidifying her place as one of the most formidable players in Westeros. However, Cersei is also a deeply human character. Beneath her armor of cunning lies vulnerability, her love for her children, her fear of losing power, and her insecurities about her place in the world. These personal dimensions make her a multidimensional antagonist. She is not merely evil for the sake of being evil. Her actions are often motivated by survival, maternal instinct, or a desire to assert agency in a male-dominated world. This complexity contributes to the shock surrounding her death, because viewers were invested not just in her role as a villain, but also in her evolution as a person struggling with love, fear, and ambition. Throughout Game of Thrones, Cersei's actions consistently demonstrate a willingness to break moral and ethical boundaries. She orders the destruction of her enemies with wildfire in King's Landing, manipulates political alliances to her advantage, and employs fear as a tool of governance. Yet, these calculated acts of cruelty are always tempered by her personal motivations and insecurities, making her a character whose choices are understandable, if not sympathetic. By Season 8, fans expected a dramatic conclusion to her arc, one befitting her intelligence, ambition, and ruthlessness. And yet, what they got was something that defied many expectations. Cersei's death in Season 8 occurs during Daenerys Targaryen's attack on King's Landing, an event that shocked viewers with its scale, intensity, and emotional weight. In the aftermath of Daenerys' dragon-fueled destruction, Cersei and Jaime Lannister attempt to escape through the Red Keep, only to be trapped as the ceiling collapses. Their death is sudden, intimate, and tragic, a far cry from the epic, revenge-driven demise many fans anticipated. The contrast between the expectation of a climactic confrontation and the quiet inevitability of their deaths is a key factor in why this moment resonated so strongly with audiences. One reason Cersei's death shocked fans is the discrepancy between her established character and the circumstances of her demise. Cersei is a master strategist, a character who consistently anticipates threats and manipulates situations to her advantage. Throughout the series, she survives countless assassination attempts, political betrayals, and military conflicts. Fans expected that her death would involve some form of cunning, revenge, or strategic brilliance, a final demonstration of her intelligence. Instead, she dies in the arms of Jaime, crushed beneath rubble, in a moment that feels more symbolic than tactical. The dissonance between expectation and reality created a profound sense of shock. Another factor contributing to the shock is the emotional complexity of Cersei's relationship with Jaime. From the very beginning, their love is taboo, obsessive, and intense. Jaime is both her protector and enabler, while Cersei is both muse and anchor for Jaime's own identity. Their deaths together, in a private, tragic moment beneath the collapsing Red Keep, are deeply symbolic of the inseparable nature of their bond. While fans were shocked by the suddenness, they also recognized the narrative poetry. Cersei and Jaime, whose lives have been intertwined by love, ambition, and moral compromise, die together, united even in death. This duality of shock and emotional resonance is central to understanding the impact of her demise. Cersei's death also subverted the expectations of traditional hero-villain narrative arcs. In most epic stories, the downfall of a villain is a climactic event, often involving confrontation, betrayal, or poetic justice. Fans of Game of Thrones had anticipated a confrontation with Daenerys, Tyrion, Jon Snow, or another key character, a moment where Cersei's intellect and ruthlessness would be tested one final time. Instead, her death is a quiet, almost anticlimactic moment within the chaos of King's Landing's destruction. This subversion contributed to both shock and debate, as viewers grappled with a resolution that emphasized tragedy and inevitability over spectacle. The shock was further amplified by the narrative pacing of Season 8. Unlike earlier seasons, which developed characters and conflicts over multiple episodes, Season 8 condensed major events into a limited number of episodes. The rapid progression of Daenerys' descent into tyranny, the Battle of King's Landing, and Cersei's death itself left little room for gradual build-up or foreshadowing. For many fans, the suddenness of her demise felt abrupt, intensifying the emotional and cognitive impact. This pacing choice heightened the shock factor, even as it served the narrative goal of demonstrating the uncontrollable, destructive forces unleashed in the final season. Cersei's death also sparked debate because it highlighted the themes of inevitability and fate in Game of Thrones. Throughout the series, Cersei's actions are often framed by prophecy and forewarning, from the visions of Maggie the Frog to the overarching narrative of power and survival in Westeros. Her death beneath the collapsing Red Keep can be interpreted as the culmination of these narrative threads, a moment where prophecy, personal hubris, and external forces converge. Fans were shocked not just by the manner of her death, but by the realization that, despite her cunning and ambition, certain outcomes were beyond her control. The convergence of fate, prophecy, and chaos underscores the series' philosophical exploration of power, mortality, and inevitability. Another reason fans were shocked is the contrast between her death and Daenerys' destruction of King's Landing. The sequence of events portrays Cersei as a passive figure in the face of overwhelming force, despite her historical reputation for manipulation and control. The visual juxtaposition of Daenerys' dragon fire and the Red Keep's crumbling walls creates a cinematic moment of chaos, terror, and vulnerability. Cersei, once untouchable and commanding, is reduced to a figure of human fragility, reminding audiences of the impermanence of power and the vulnerability that accompanies ambition. This reversal of agency is both shocking and thematically resonant, emphasizing the series' commentary on the limits of control and the unpredictability of human affairs. Cersei's death is also shocking because it denies the audience the satisfaction of vengeance or resolution. Throughout the series, Cersei makes countless enemies, including Tyrion, Jon Snow, and Sansa Stark. Viewers may have anticipated that one of these characters would play a role in her ultimate downfall, delivering a form of narrative justice. Instead, Cersei dies without direct retribution from her enemies, emphasizing the chaotic and impersonal nature of death in Westeros. This lack of traditional closure challenges audience expectations and reinforces the series' commitment to unpredictability, moral ambiguity, and realism in storytelling. The emotional weight of Cersei's death is further intensified by her relationship with her children. For much of the series, Cersei's actions are motivated by a fierce maternal instinct. Her desire to protect her children shapes her alliances, strategies, and ruthlessness. The deaths of Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen profoundly impact her psychological state, fueling both grief and vengeance.